I wanted to know the moment when you're standing there waiting to find out what place you got. What did you think you were going to get?
Third.
You thought you were third?
Yeah.
Because you have a big old smirk on your face, like a truly legit reaction to you being second. Walk us through that.
I didn't think that Emma was going to move down. I thought I was going to stay in third. So when they called it, I was just standing there like, it could be me. I'm not sure. But I didn't really think it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then, they called my name and I was just surprised because I don't know. It was like going to the weekend. The goal was to qualify. It wasn't like this placement goal because I just, semifinals is just about qualifying.
Yeah.
And each day just got better. I built more momentum. And then by the final event, it was like I knew I had kind of qualified before the final event, I think. But in the past, I've kind of held back in the final event because of that. And this year I was like, I'm just going to... It's kind of like, that you're already doing it.
Oh,
so why, go all out? I don't know. It's not a good mindset. I hate that. I hate that I've done that in the past. And this year it was like, I can't wait to give this workout everything I have and have no regrets after. So I ripped the bike, got off the bike first, and I was like, this is happening.
Yeah.
And I didn't even feel anything. I didn't feel any pain at all. It was just magic. I'm very proud of my performances, and the placement doesn't really matter, but
does it?
Well, it helps the confidence going into the games, right? But it doesn't it's not like...
How does it help the confidence?
Because it's like, all right, I went into this weekend, I felt very ready and prepared, but there's still a lot of things that I need to work on and a lot of things that we're continuing to work on, and it's not like we're peaking right now. So to be able to take second and also feel that way, but also make a lot of mistakes and execution errors. The weekend wasn't perfect, and it's never going to be perfect, but it kind of, for me, gives me confidence knowing, okay, there were a lot of things just a lot of little tiny things that happened, and yet I took second against literally the best in the world. Our region is so stacked. It was okay, the games I'm in a good place right now.
Right. I actually want to jump into one of those is on the list, which is the handstand walk no rep.
Yeah.
You're so good on your hands. What happened there?
I know. What's funny is when we were practicing, Travis was on my butt about the hand placement, and he would joke around and be like, no rep. And in my head, I was like, I'm literally never going to get a no rep on a handstand walk. This is my movement, and that's just...
You got cocky.
Yeah. And even in warm up, Adam was be sure about the line, make sure that you're in the lines, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going out of that line. There's a lot of space. And I was just so focused on going fast. I wasn't even looking at the line at all. When she gave me a no rep, in my head, I'm like, there's no way. And then I watched the video after. I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely touched that line.
Well, you didn't hesitate. You were just right back on it.
No, because I knew there's no time to waste. I'm not going to argue with this judge. But
how did it feel in the moment?
I was just like, dang it. Because I really think I could have put up one of the top scores in that, which I did, but who knows? Maybe I could have won it or taken second or third, whatever. But those tiny seconds, in that workout, are so many places. And it sucked in the moment, but I also knew, okay, I'm so good at both of these movements that it doesn't matter. Just got to move on. And I actually didn't think about it the whole rest of the workout. I was in my lane, and if anything, it made me kind of stay in my zone a little bit more, because I was just like, all right, you have no room to make any more mistakes right now. You can still put up a really good time. So yeah, I was proud that I didn't freak out at all. I stayed in a very good headspace despite that.
Is that something now with the experience that you could do? Because would something like that have flustered you in the past, you think?
Yeah, for sure.
And is it just that simple where it's oh, now I have experience and now I can put that into practice and now I won't freak out about it? Or did something change?
No, I've just been working a lot on my mind, working with a mental coach, and just becoming a athlete that like literally anything can come at me and I'm unfazed.
That was actually one of the questions that didn't make the cut, or maybe it did, but let's dive into that. So you hired a mental coach.
Yeah.
When did you do that? Why did you do that? And how's it been going?
I met her months ago. We just started talking. I didn't even know that she was a mental coach. I was definitely struggling at the time. I kind of just felt desperate for help. I didn't really know what it was going to entail. I didn't really know what we were going to even do.
When you say you were struggling at the time, is this workout stuff, life stuff, or both?
It was everything. It was just like I didn't really know how to handle my thoughts. And
it was affecting the gym.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's something that is very underrated and something that's helping me more than I think anything, actually.
So that's something I've noticed. What it's been 7 years here, but CrossFit at large, it seems like at the highest level, and maybe you could trickle down to lower levels too, but definitely at the highest level, it almost seems like it's the real world stuff that ends up being the difference maker. It's like, what does that person have going on in their life outside of the gym? And it could be gym, injuries or whatever, but it's almost like you got to get your head right as a human to be able to perform at your best. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. I think in the past, like the gym has been a place where I almost escape like whatever I'm going through. And now it's like I want to deal with that stuff head on, whether that's like life stuff or just insecurities or maybe like health stuff that I'm dealing with. My body doesn't feel good. Just even being sick, like all of that stuff affects you more than you think in the gym. And it's just like reframing the way that you think at the end of the day. And I think the best athletes are able to do that the best. And like when you get a no rep or something happens on the field that is completely out of your control, but it totally derails like your flow or whatever, you have the opportunity to either freak out and then it affects you in a really big way, or you can take that head on and be like, all right, what's like almost pivot, like, okay, what am I going to do now to help me continue to finish this workout? And like, it doesn't have to derail you either.
Is it hard to do that in those moments though?
It's hard, but the more that you do that and get exposed to like obstacles and stuff that's not perfect, the easier it gets. And then it's just it's just like what you do. It's not this decision. Oh my gosh, like what am I going to do? It's like, no, you just do it.
Within the last year, have you had those moments come up where you fell back into what you didn't want to do, so to speak? So a moment comes up and you don't dismiss it or whatever you were hoping would be that good outcome. Yeah. You fall back into getting sucked into it.
Yeah. I think that happens more in training than like competition. I think competition I'm able to, for the most part, and it depends. Like it depends on the workout and the time of the weekend and whatever. But if I'm like really in it and very present, I feel like it's easier for me. But if I'm training and I don't know, like my body's sore and things hurt and
you got other stuff to do.
Other stuff, it's just like that little thing can be extra triggering. Mm-hmm. Like I'm very proud of myself when I handle those situations well, because there are times where I could get like emotional and kind of break down and get worked up, and like I leave and I'm not proud of those days or like those reactions, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's always a time and place for that. This sport can get really stressful, and especially when we're training like 7 hours a day, like that stuff just happens. But if I can have more of those moments where I'm proud of the way that I reacted or I'm proud of the way that I handled those situations, then I can walk away and be like, okay, I'm making progress.
Yeah. Now, do you look back at times where you didn't handle it the way you wished and kind of like, why was I doing that? Like, do you have like a new perspective on old you? I used to be like rage guy in the car. Like I would, and now I just, nothing phases me. You can cut me off and then I'll look back at like, why did I used to do that to myself?
Oh, I have, yes. Lots of road rage, lots of taking a lot of my anger out on workouts, which there's a time and place for that, right? Like it fuels me and it's awesome in the moment, but it's not sustainable and it's not something I can rely on every day.
Yeah. You want to talk about that for a second? Why? Why is it not reliable? And why does it end up biting you in the butt?
You can't just pull that kind of anger out any given day. And that anger comes from something not great happening, right? So it's not like you can walk in here and just be like, oh, I'm going to turn on the rage right now and just dig myself into this hole, because it's not something that you can just pull from instantly.
Yeah, it's not reliable.
No, not at all. And when I do have those moments, it's usually because a workout went really bad the day before, or a workout went really bad earlier in the day, and I'll come back and it's like I'm a different person in like a crazy way, which is a good way sometimes. But then it's like, okay, now I need to reel it in and find this sustainable motivation that makes me feel like I'm in that flow state, just like doing this almost like a routine kind of thing. It's just like, it's like beautiful. That's how I described like day 3 of the competition. It was just like, just peace. That is so sustainable, and that is where I want to be all the time if I can be. And it's not always like that. But when I'm in that headspace in training and competition, I'm having so much fun and I'm so present in that, and I'm just loving it.
Loving it's good.
Yeah.
I want to go back to when it's bad real quick, and then we can move on to a different subject. But what you said when you have your bad days and the training wasn't good, how are you now defining like what registers as a bad day for you? I know it's probably all workout dependent, but like what are the things that get you sucked into your head where now you have to make the decision to spiral or not?
Yeah. A day where I'm not hitting the lifts that Adam wants me to lift. Something like I know what I'm capable of on like the machines, for example. I know what I can hold. I know what I should be able to hold. And if I'm not able to, or even if it doesn't feel like I want it to feel, sometimes that kind of
that's important.
Throws me
I feel like
off.
people don't talk about that enough. It's like you can have your big numbers, your PRs or your best times, but it's like, how did you actually feel during the process of doing that? Because that's a PR of its own. It's like, maybe it's not my all-time best time or lift, but I felt freaking amazing doing it.
Yeah. And I think that's something I'll always need to work on is, sorry, I just burped. You can cut that out. I didn't hear it. Okay. Your best in any given day is going to change. So like, he'll be like 90% effort on this workout. And today, 90% might look completely different than it will look in a week from now. And that's something that's very frustrating for me because I want to feel the same every day. And it's just not the case. And when I don't feel good, it's so irritating because I'm constantly comparing myself to the best version of myself. I think that's something that anyone at any level can get better at is, okay, maybe this isn't the best lifting day that you've ever had, but for today, you couldn't have done any better. Mm-hmm. So that's actually really good. Yeah. So it's not necessarily like always the lifting numbers or the times or whatever it is that makes like a good or bad day. It's sometimes you don't feel good and you're pushing through and you're not quitting and you're staying positive, and that you're not having like the best time in the gym, but that's actually a good day because you showed up and you proved to yourself that like you're tough, and yeah, maybe everything hurts and you don't feel good and you haven't eaten in like 3 hours or whatever it is, but you got it done.
Right.
That's a good day. So it's kind of just like dependent on the day, and you have to have like an optimistic perspective. Like,
is that easy for you or is that hard?
No, it is really hard.
Yeah. Like
I said, I'm working on it every single week, and I think when you're able to get through really hard times in the gym, it actually like bleeds into my everyday life. It's like, okay, I've done really hard things before and I've gotten through. Like, I am so tough. I want to take that into my real life. Mm-hmm. And that's something I want to work on actually, is like bringing this tough, aggressive, but passionate athlete into the real world. And like when things are hard, it's like, okay, I can handle this because look what I've handled before, kind of thing.
Well, speaking of things being hard, back to semifinals, you had to start day 2 in heat 3, which is not where you wanted to be.
Yes.
Walk us through how that felt. Did you assume that this would be the case going in?
No, that's when the anger came out. And
remind me, how did you get into heat 3?
Yeah, so the first day we only had one workout, which was hard because you end the day and it's just like you have no redemption. It's just over. And you have to wait a whole day to kind of prove to not everyone, but prove to yourself, like, man, I am really fit. Like I don't want to be in this heat, and I know I shouldn't be in this heat, but this is where we're at. And the first workout, like, it was tough because I know that I'm a good runner, and I didn't go out too hot, I don't think. But the workout was just kind of like the way it was set up. It's kind of like a mind game because you're running with these girls and then you run in and everyone's at a different spot. So when I thought I was like in a good place, I look over and this person's already done 2 clean and jerks because they're like on the other side of the field. Right. And I'm like, oh shoot. Like it was really hard for me to gauge where I was actually at. And I thought I was doing well. And then I don't know what it was. Like I got really hot and I don't know, like it's been hot here, but I overheat a little, I don't know, like easy. And the last 2 rounds, it just like hit me really hard. And I stayed in it. Like I didn't feel like I was taking my foot off the gas, but my body was just starting to. Like it was just how it was going. And I remember after the workout being so mad at myself for not trying to do touch and go at the end, because if I would have touch and go'd the last 5 reps, it might have been like 4 spots, you know, it's like.
And when you're picking the bar up, are you thinking, do it?
I'm thinking it, but my body is like, I don't know if I could have. I was so far gone at that point. But when I get home, it's like I literally didn't sleep that night because I'm thinking about what I should have tried to do. And I was mad at myself. And knowing that, it's like, okay, I know I'm fit enough. Hold on,
we're going to backtrack. When you say you didn't sleep at night, what does that mean?
Yeah.
How long?
No, I literally did not sleep. Like,
what do you mean? You had to sleep?
I mean, I slept probably a few hours, but like I was literally up thinking about those clean and jerks.
You're just in the bed on the phone?
No, I'm not on the phone. I'm
just
laying
sitting there like a fucking creeper.
Well, my eyes are shut, but I'm just like,
wow, that's crazy.
I want this night to be over.
And so did you occasionally like lean over and see the clock and be like, dang, it's getting later and later?
Yeah, I mean, I tried not to look at the clock, but every time I did, I was just like, oh my God. So I just want it to be the morning.
What was the last time you remember seeing before you finally fell asleep?
Well, it wasn't like I would be asleep for a little bit and then I would wake up and then I would be awake for a while and just like tossing and turning, can't get comfortable, can't shut my brain off. Like that was so frustrating not being able to shut my brain off because I was in that like fight or flight stage while I was sleeping and I was trying to get out of it so hard. I was trying to like bring my body down and relax, and I just like I couldn't, and that was really frustrating.
That's crazy.
But I knew, okay, that's like a few seconds between 5th and 10th or whatever. So it's not like these other girls were way fitter. It was just, it came down to like these tiny little execution things. Okay, maybe next time, I don't care how messed up I am, you need to at least try to go touch and go, or at least try to pick up the bar a little faster, whatever it was. So going into day 2, I was just really mad. I was mad at myself for not trying, and I knew these next 2 workouts were really good for me. I'm trying to remember what they were really good for me, and I just wanted to kind of like take my anger out on them, basically. And I did. Like before I went out, Adam was like, I want to hear your name for 12 minutes straight because you're in the lead. And I was like, all right. And that's what we did. Like I just wanted to put on a show and just show everyone like, hey, I'm here.
Did it end up being kind of fun?
It was so fun. But I wasn't like, I feel like day 3 I was on the floor like just beaming, and day 2 it was more like, no, I'm ready to just destroy kind of thing.
And was there any downsides to going against that heat? There's always if you could see the people.
Yeah, I think if I were to race, Tia and Emma, it would have been, I would have pushed myself probably more. But
is that something that's in the back of your head when you're out there? You're like,
yeah.
Are you thinking about them too?
Yes, I am. I'm thinking like, hey, there's girls ahead of you right now. Like, you have no time to rest. And I'm thinking about that, but I'm also being very in tune with my body and knowing what we practiced. And I'm not being stupid. I'm not going out too hot because I know like, okay, there's possibility of, blowing up on a legless rope climb workout, and then you have to rest way longer, and then you're screwed. So I knew that I had to, go hot, but I also knew I had to be smart. I do think those workouts were good to do on the second day because it was like I was in my own lane. I was pushing hard. I was thinking about where other girls could be, like, racing ghosts in a way. Like, okay, someone's probably ahead of you right now. You have to keep pushing. But I think being in the final heat, sometimes like you do get in your head if you're not in the lead or you're not doing well, and it can sometimes hurt you.
How much thinking is actually going on when you're doing these competitions? Like, are you just like in dead CrossFit mode, like I'm just getting through it? Or are you like in your head thinking through all these things?
I'm thinking a lot. Yeah. Like
for any given workout, that's the case.
Yeah. I'm thinking about what I'm doing, and I'm like very focused on what I'm doing, focused on my pace. I don't know. I always relate it back to like a gymnastics routine for me. It's almost like each part of the workout is like a part of my routine, and I need to be focused on that before I move on to the next. That's kind of how I think. I would say the first workout was the only workout where I was like dead zombie, freaking CrossFit brain. I'm so messed up. The other workouts, I was a lot more methodical and focused. Like my strategy, I had my strategy and I was sticking to it, and I knew what I had to do. We practiced, intervals of them, so I knew what it was going to feel like. I'm kind of having conversations with myself. Okay, where are you at?
Yeah.
Do we need to break? No, not yet. Push a little harder. Like, you need to get up to this pace and then back to here.
And have you always been like this?
Yeah.
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 What percentage of these like at competition workouts are you just in pain? Like not from an injury or a tweak, but like I just mean like, well, are you just always just revving so hard that you're just the whole time hurts?
No. That's the other part of like that flow state on day 3. It's like that row handstand walk workout in practice. I hated it. I can't even tell you how much I hated it.
Why?
It hurt so bad. On the competition floor, did not hurt at all.
Adrenaline or what?
No, it's just like, well, yeah, probably adrenaline.
But it should hurt worse because you've done more workouts.
No, I know. I don't know how to describe it other than like it's a magical feeling out there. And that's what happens when you're just in like this amazing headspace competing. It's so fun, and you just use this energy, and I don't know, it just feels magical. But when you're not in that and you're just not in a good headspace, it feels like event 1. It's so different. I'm constantly like, I'm in my head, I'm fighting this pain. And there are times where I'm in that flow state and it does hurt really bad, but you don't feel it as much as you do on like a normal.
Okay, hang there. When you're in the flow state and it does start to feel bad, is it like a conversation with yourself where you're like, no, screw that, I'm pushing through?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. God. Yeah.
Y'all are incredible. I don't understand you guys.
That's why
I think we take for granted what y'all are doing out there, because it's, or at least I'd probably do.
But that's why I say it's like you could get so fit, and we have so many fit people here, but what separates, like those people from the best, I think it's like between the ears, 100%. I think like there's probably people who are fitter who haven't made it to the games, but whatever it is, like competition anxiety or not being able to handle your emotions, not being able to, you know, push through, like that's what separates people. And I don't know. I really do think it's a lot more mental than what anyone thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the people who took your spot was our own Lydia
I
Fish.
know. Yeah.
What was it like watching her this weekend? Did y'all talk a lot or?
Yeah, that was so cool. I'm so happy for her. I feel like being in the final heat is such an honor because you're with the best in the world. And
she held her own too.
She did. She stayed there for like 2 days, 2+ days, I think. And it's just cool because it's like it shows you that consistency is what takes you to the top. It's not like you have to be winning workouts. It's not like you have to be the fastest or the strongest. And she showed that. Like, she's very consistent. And she is one of those athletes that has the mental side of it. Like, she's got what it takes, and she just has it. And
how do you know that? Like, because you've told me this like a year ago.
Yeah.
When we were talking.
You can just tell. Like, I don't know. You can just see it. You can tell. You can see how it's there or it's not. I think so. She has come such a long way, and I just see myself in her so much, and it fires me up because it's like I know that she wants it really bad, but the confidence thing is definitely not, like, it hasn't quite been there, I don't think, because that confidence only comes from like success, in my opinion. Like, when you do really well, you're like, oh my gosh, I do belong. I am
double
fit.
Down.
And I think that that's actually really dangerous. Like, she was in the final heat. She knows that she can hold her own with these girls. And
dangerous meaning like
yes.
The future for her is
going to be. Yeah. I think it was huge for her. And I'm excited to see where she takes it next year, and I hope it kind of like lights a fire under her and just makes her have more belief in herself, because I see so much potential in her, and if she wants it, like, I think she can do it for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Want to jump into the Q&A?
Yes.
Well, nothing else we could do, so let's do it. All right. First question is from Big Hits on Health. What was her mindset going into semifinals? So where was your headspace at? What were you thinking?
I was like a month out. I was feeling really, really good. Fitness